let's jump right on in to Sunday's slate. We do have a handful of teams on a bye. I think 6 teams on a bye. So there's only 13 games to pick, which means that 3-win week is coming for someone this week. I can feel it.
Well,
Colin's off
real
to
quick before we get into Sunday's games, how did Thursday's picks go for the panel?
Okay, this fucking guy.
Let's go.
Well, me, Addison, Bobby, and Sage all took the bait of Pittsburgh -3.5. Colin, I even told Colin to take Cleveland, essentially. I was like, oh, that line is fishy. Why is it only 3.5 points? What do the books know? And then I was like, no, I'm going to stay with Pittsburgh. Don't overthink it, Nate. And Colin, you're like, you guys told me the line's fishy. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Well done. Well
Very
done.
impressive. Very impressive.
All
Colin
right.
off to a hard stop.
My gloating's over. My gloating's over.
Yeah, okay. All right, Sunday. First game, NFC North matchup. The Minnesota Vikings traveling to Chicago to take on Addison's Bears. The line is Minnesota -3.5. Bobby, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts on this game?
See, I did actually make these earlier. This is a tough one. I did like Thomas Brown actually a lot, though I liked his presser. Give me the Bears plus the 3.5. You know, I think they're too good of a team to be playing as bad as they have been. I think the defense is too good. I think they have too many offensive weapons. I just hope this week. I mean, Caleb looked a lot better as well. A ton of rushing yards as well. Wasn't really expecting that. Division game 3.5. Like the hook a little bit. I think Bears at least keep it close. So give me them plus the 3.5.
Yeah. Colin, thoughts here?
Going back and forth, I was listening to a bunch of stuff this week, just regarding the Bears, and their offense had looked much better last week compared to weeks prior, and it's just inevitable. Like, this Bears offense has to have one of these games where they just come out and put up like 27 plus points. Now, is it against a Brian Flores defense with a rookie quarterback? I don't know. Sam Darnold's starting to rear his head a little bit. The real Sam Darnold's standing up, so I'm going to go with you, Bob. I'm going to take the Bears with the points. And hope at worst they just have a heartbreaking field goal situation at the end of the game again and cover with 3.5.
Shit. Nah, you guys are now. I really want to take the Vikings, but I have written down Bears plus 3.5 points here, man.
That's a straight L across the board.
You guys know I love me a good home division dog. It's on the shirt I'm wearing. The Bears, and there are teams that we will get to where I can't say this about. I don't think the Bears players have quit on this season. There are several teams that have quit on this season. I don't think the Bears have. This is a pride game, man. It's everything that could go wrong these last 4 weeks has. We were 4-2. We're 4-6. It's time to go. Need to start showing, like, now you're auditioning for jobs next year too. If you think the season's over, fine. You could think that. But at the same time, like, you're playing for next year too. My biggest concern in this game is Brian Flores blitz packages against this offensive line. How many times, but if Williams plays like he did last week, where it's first read, not their run, I like that. I like that a lot. Get out of there. Get out of the pocket. I love the hook of 3.5. I'm a total sucker for it. Give me the Bears at home plus 3.5. Addison, what are your thoughts?
Well, Sage is also on the Bears.
Yeah.
So that really makes me want to go solo with the Vikings because my record solo is pretty good. But I'm going to sucker in and let's clean sweep the Bears. Why not? Because I'm the biggest homer possible. Obviously, I'm worried about Brian Flores' blitz is coming with the shit offensive line the Bears have, straight up. I'm praying Thomas Brown will call a game plan that actually benefits and can handle a lot of blitzes because that's what's going to come no matter what. Like you said, Nate, 1-2 reads. If it's not there, go, Caleb, because he was holding onto the ball, but I think he was looking for guys open, wanting to like throw to the receivers that are just getting clamped, or maybe it's a bad route scheme up. But now it's, okay, if it's not there, take off, get a positive play. He had over 300 yards all purpose, Caleb Williams did, against the Packers. He led a should have been game-winning drive, the second one of the season that results in a loss for the Bears. Absolute heartbreaking, but I think they bounced back. Colin, you said it. The reason I'm picking the Bears really here, though, is Sam Darnold, his play as of late. I think the Vikings have escaped with a couple wins the last couple weeks. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, he hadn't played great. This last week, Darnold played a little bit better, but man, I just think that it's going to be more often than not. You see the Darnold where it's only if he could have completed this pass, could have done this, could have done that. We could have won 28-0 or 28-10, 35-10 and said it's a close game late. Give me the Bears.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even mention, Sam Darnold looking a lot more like Sam Darnold of old recently. I mean, not putting up a ton of points offensively, just not looking a lot more shaky. I mean, 23 against the Titans and 12 against the Jags. That does not inspire confidence to me.
The Jags game is really bad. They were in the red zone 3 times. No points on any of those red zone trips. Only 40-yard field goals plus in that game. They still won.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat a lot of teams like that.
No, you're not. All right, clean sweep on Chicago. Do you guys want to know what our clean sweep record was last week?
Bad.
0-2.
About the weeks before.
It's so bad.
Week
It's
before,
so bad.
Week before we were 5-2 in clean sweeps. We had 7 of 14
So we need
games.
to do
clean
it a
swept.
lot. We
5
need
and
to
2.
clean sweep a lot.
So we did a lot that week. So
Mm.
we'll see what happens. Next up, we've got the Detroit Lions traveling to Indy to take on the Colts. Bobby, this is a bad time to catch the Detroit Lions, buddy. Makes me nervous. Line is Detroit minus 7.5. I am going to lead us off here. Sage is on the Colts plus a 7.5 points. You do love that hook of 7.5. But if Detroit wins, it's going to be by 30 points. That's what they do to teams. They don't take their foot off the gas. They just, no, we're not pulling our starters. We're going to go, 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 go. And this is a game where they're not making mistakes. Detroit is not making mistakes. They go up 7. Colts come down 7. Then if Anthony Richardson or anybody on the Colts makes one mistake, Detroit is capitalizing, and then the route is on. As Colin likes to tell me after the first touchdown against the Cowboys, oh, the route's on. Route's on. It's over. That's game. Detroit just runs it up. That's why them in a big spread doesn't scare me like it does with the Chiefs. The Chiefs just get ahead and settle. Not the Lions, man. The Lions go for the throat. Give me Detroit minus 7.5. Colin.
Right there with you. I said it a couple of weeks ago. It's Detroit on the spread until further notice, unless the number is too outrageous. And last week, I thought maybe it was a little outrageous against the Jags, but they came out and just handled business. What good teams are supposed to do against bad teams. Colts big win last week. Indy is a tough-ish place to play, but it's the Detroit Lions until further notice. So I'm taking them with the 7.5, and hopefully they just continue their the trends they've had here.
Yeah. Yep. Addison.
Yeah, the Lions, when they struggled in their last game against the Texans, which was a couple weeks ago, Joe Mixon sort of was held in check. He had 20 rushes, 23 for 46, which isn't crazy. But then you bring in Anthony Richardson's legs. And over the years as a Bears fan, I watched Justin Fields torture this Detroit defense. And I think Detroit struggles with rushing quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong, most teams do, because it's just another layer of the offense that the opposing team has. But I believe in Anthony Richardson's legs to cover the 7.5 here. I think he'll be able to make enough plays. Just the week they had last week was best case scenario for Anthony Richardson. I've talked about it with Bob, obviously being the biggest Colts fan, and he brought it up a little bit earlier in the pod. I hope that's not an indication that that is the expectation. He has to play this well every start. This was start 11. We talked about he was benched on 10. This was start 11. He's not even at a full season yet. If he does struggle, it's all right. But I believe he's taken a step off of this benching somehow, some way. Maybe this really did help him. I'm going to go with the Colts here this week, plus the 7.5. Richardson legs are the difference maker.
Okay. Bobby, what you got?
Yeah, you mentioned it's a bad time to run into the Lions for the Colts, but is it a bad time for the Colts to run into the Lions as well? You know, that whole thing. No,
Lions
not
are
at
the
all.
Colts.
Lions are the
Yeah.
Colts.
Flipped it. But Colts are 8-3 against the spread. I will say that good teams win, great teams cover, even if they're dogs, and just cover in a loss. But that's besides the point. Give me the Lions minus 7.5. I think Richardson played his best game of the year last week. Hopefully does it again, but to be honest, our defense is Swiss cheese in the fourth quarter and late. I think that the Lions will be able to heavily dominate the time of possession with their run game, even having Grover and Buckner back. I will say Colts do have a weird habit of beating good teams, though. We beat the Chiefs. We're actually have a pretty decent record against the Chiefs in recent years. But I just think this offense of the Lions is way too potent. If Goff misses about 3 throws, he's had a really bad game, which is disgusting. So I also Lions have beat 3 teams by 35 points plus this year. Last time the Colts did that was like 2009. You'd have to go back to the 1990s to get 3 of those games. So that just shows how dominant of an offense the Lions have this year. And Kirby Joseph's had a really good year in the defensive side of the ball too. I think he's leading the NFL in interceptions, but I think the offensive line really is going to stalemate our defensive line, and I think the Lions just have a few more playmakers that'll step up big. So Amon-Ra scored a touchdown in what seems like every single game this season as well. So give me the Lions in this one. I don't really think it matters that we're at home either. So
Yeah, Lions are so good. I mean, you
they
just look at
are,
the
yeah.
points they put up, man. I mean, they've this year alone, they've scored 52, 52, 47, 42. I mean, that's insane offensive numbers. They're
Goff
very
threw 5 interceptions and they still won the game. Like
and
I
they
don't
won on the road. That's
that
insane.
that's the worst game he's gonna ever have this season, and they still won that game. So I think that just goes to show how scary of a team they are.
Yeah, agreed. All right, moving on to the AFC East matchup. New England Patriots going to Miami to take on the Miami Dolphins. Line is Miami -7. Sage is on the Patriots as the Patriots guy of the podcast, very clearly. Colin, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I'll save you guys the vocals, but it's the circle of life. And here we go. New England coming to Miami. Miami's starting to turn around. Their defense has been playing great for multiple weeks now. And the Patriots don't have a Brock Bowers on their team to torment that Miami defense.
Thank
So
God.
give me the Dolphins here at home.
Jesus, he lit us up.
Yeah.
But
Well, he's
cover
lit a lot
him.
of teams up, so don't feel too bad.
True, he is very, very good. But my God, I mean, it's a slant in the middle every time, guys. Someone step in front of the pass, please. It was very obvious what was happening. Addison, thoughts?
I might not be a Patriots guy, but I am a Drake May guy. I think I love what he's done this season, the progression he's made. You got to be super excited as a Patriots fan that you think you maybe have found the future. But I'm going to take Miami here. I think they want to step on some throats to finish this season. Obviously, it doesn't matter how they look. If they can sneak into the playoffs, if they win every game by one, sure. It's not college football where you have to win big. But I think they want to make a statement with Tua. I thought last week they showed it with the Raiders. They kept the foot on the gas, scored a touchdown late. You love to see that. Go win the football game. Put it out of reach for the Raiders. Don't even give them an opportunity by maybe playing a little bit conservative. They did not do that. So I don't think they'll do that this week. I think if given the opportunity, they will score, maybe pump it up a little bit. I'm going to take the Dolphins here minus the spread.
Okay. Bobby.
It's a tough one. I really like Drake May a lot. I think he's a
good,
stud.
dude. He's good. He makes plays when nothing's in front of him.
Give me the
That's good.
Patriots +7. I think. Yeah, I think Drake May at least keeps it close. I think the Dolphins do win this game, but give me Drake May on some late game antics to at least make it a 7-point game. I do feel like the Dolphins, since Tua has been back, have been throwing a little bit more of the short yardage stuff, just to make sure he doesn't get hurt as much. So I'm going to hope for a low scoring game. Like I said, Dolphins win, able to run the ball. Drake May, late game heroics to cover the spread. So give me the Patriots +7.
Yeah.
Nate, not to jump you, Nate. I know every game's different, but I could see this being similar to the Texans Patriots, where it was the Texans, the Patriots kept it close, but the Texans just kept scoring touchdowns to keep that. They just ended up covering a larger spread because they just
Right.
kept scoring touchdowns. I could easily see New England doing something to keep this close, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. To Bobby, to your point, the short passes, fun fact, this year against the NFL in general, defenses are running two high safeties right around 65-70% of the time. Against Miami, 92% of defensive plays are two high safeties. They're just like, you're not going to beat us deep. You're going to have to throw it short. We're not letting you do it, which is why we haven't been doing it. So I'm glad that our coach isn't as stubborn as he used to be, where he's like, I'm throwing it deep. We're going to do it anyways. So I'm happy to see us run the ball and throw it short. That makes me happy. Colin said it best, AFC East circle of life. It's the thing. Much like the NFL, all of the divisions have a circle of life. One team that shouldn't own another team always owns another team. Even when Tom Brady played for the New England Patriots, every time, worst game of the year for him was always in Miami. He never played well in Miami. And the Dolphins beat the Patriots in New England earlier this year with Tyler Huntley at quarterback, and they beat him 15-10, beat him by 5 in New England. I mean, obviously, I'm taking New England plus the points here, because I have to. Bobby, I feel bad that you also are on New England with me, because you guys already know that's my mortal lock. So you already know that that's cooked, which, by the way, 1 in 10 on the year in mortal locks, folks. The curse is real. The curse is very, very real. I do think the Raiders tried real hard to backdoor cover for me last week, though. They were driving. I was like, a touchdown covers, baby. Come on, go get it. So I could see, like what Bobby said, some Drake May antics. They're down by 10. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, let's get the touchdown. and they don't get the onside kick, Dolphins win the game by 3 instead, and Patriots cover. Could totally see something like that happening. And I love Drake May in the draft process. He was 1B to Caleb Williams 1A for me. I liked him more than Jaden Daniels. Now, obviously, Jaden Daniels looks like a stud, but I've always been a Drake May guy, and I was really bummed. Addison disagrees with Jaden Daniels stud. He's cooled off. He's cooled off. Cliff Kingsbury in the second half cools off too. But
You
Drake,
figured out because it's a really simple offense.
bingo. But I've always been a big Drake May guy. I was really bummed when they took him at 3. I really wanted them to take like JJ McCarthy. No offense to JJ McCarthy, but I was like, Drake May can be a special player, man.
Yeah.
But give me New England to backdoor cover this one by 7. Cover it. All right. Next up, Tampa Bay traveling to New York to take on the Daniel Jones-less Giants, who they
Cowboys.
Just what?
Yeah.
Cowboys, Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Welcome home,
potentially.
baby.
Hey, distant relative of Jerry Jones. Family business, baby. Family
Yeah.
business. Smart. Tampa Bay on the road is 5.5-point favorites. I'm going to be short and sweet. Tampa Bay minus 5.5 points here. We're sorry, Drew Lock. Hope you didn't want to play football this year, buddy. If I'm him, I'm so pissed.
So
What is the
pissed.
point of paying me $4-5 million to come in here to be QB2 just to not play me? What's the point? Stupid. But for that matter, give me Tampa Bay minus 5.5 points. Easy. Addison.
Yeah, I really feel bad for Drew Lock. Just what a shit handling of that situation. Tommy DeVito does not give you a better opportunity to win than Drew Lock. There's a reason he's been your number 2 all year. Do you think that statement by Daniel Jones was pretty classy? Screw L. Duncan. She's talking shit on ESPN. It's like, that's weird as shit.
Yeah.
But Mike Evans is back. All right, he's expected, but I think it's almost guaranteed, been reported a million times he's playing this week. He's back, and that's huge for this Falcons offense. Atlanta has beat them twice this year, so they're down 2 games, a third game, really.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I know. Talking about Tampa Bay,
Okay.
but Atlanta's beat Tampa Bay twice this year,
Okay.
and they're 2 games back, 3 games back, really, in the division because of that. But Atlanta did not run away with this given the opportunity. Tampa Bay now getting Mike Evans back. Is there enough of the season left to maybe sneak 3 games back on the Falcons? Who knows if they play like they have of late. This is a big one for Tampa Bay. They need it. Mike Evans is back. They're covering. They're winning this game. I know I jumped in Atlanta there weird, but it was about Tampa Bay and their rest of the season.
I got you.
But give me Tampa Bay here minus the spread.
Okay. I like it. Bobby.
Yeah, give me Tampa. This game does have a stinky little smell to it, and it may be Tommy Cutlets, but honestly, I kind of feel the same way about this game that I did about the Steelers game. I'm just like, I don't know how the spread. Maybe I'm missing something here, but the Giants stink.
Bad.
And
Bad. They stink like shit.
This game does scare me a little bit just because the book does always win, but give me Tampa. I don't think that it should really be a question whatsoever, and I think just about every single ounce of the money is going to be on Tampa to cover. So which makes me kind of hate this pick, but give me Tampa all day, every day.
Yeah. I kind of regret leaving Colin last for this one because I feel like he's got the books figured out.
Well, he's
Tommy
the OG
Cutlets.
Giants fan this season, too.
Yeah, true. Been a big Giants guy. Are you going to ride solo with the Giants?
Absolutely not. I think this is a move where you do kind of lose the locker room. I know Daniel Jones isn't probably, the biggest leader. I mean, I don't know the dynamics of the New York Giants, but it does seem like he is a great guy. So maybe he does have a lot of camaraderie in that locker room. Addison, just adding on to your point, obviously Mike Evans back this week as well, but adding on to your point about the remaining schedule for Tampa Bay, it's promising. It is absolutely promising. Their last 7 games against the Giants on the road, Panthers on the road, they host the Raiders, they go to the Chargers, that's tough. They go to Dallas, that's a dub. They host the Panthers and then host the Saints to end the year.
Wow.
6-1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 6-1 if they're not pulling one out against LA or if they don't throw a stinker of their own somewhere in there.
Right.
And so 4-6 could be 10-7 real easy if they play their cards right. So
Did Atlanta stumble?
Yeah. Atlanta's got a tough. I was just looking at Atlanta's schedule a second ago. They've got a tough run the rest of the way. They've got tough one this week, I think, or coming up. No, not this week, but yeah, they've got a tough run, basically. I don't have it in front of me, of course, but Atlanta's not got a simple schedule.
Also, biggest loser in all this, hands down, the GM of the Giants. It's embarrassing that he decided to get rid of Saquon, bet his job on Danny Dimes. I mean, you can talk about bad bets all day. That's the worst thing I've ever heard of.
Yep.
It's also sad. I mean, at least for me speaking with Rich, just benching him when Danny Dimes is still a quarterback in the NFL and got paid. It just doesn't make sense. Just because he's from Duke doesn't mean anything. Like
He was
terrible quarterback play, always mediocre. It's just disgusting that some franchise. I feel so sorry for their fans that they've had to watch that. So it's going to be really tough to right the ship. But
Nah.
They beat
yeah, I
Brady
know,
twice
right?
in the
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
Bowl. Fuck them.
yeah.
They've got
No,
two
that's
Super
fair.
Bowls recently.
Just as a fan, I hurt for them. I hurt for
Yeah.
them because that's almost unwatchable. Like you got to hate your life every Sunday. So
I mean, they paid Daniel Jones slightly less than Lamar Jackson got paid when Daniel Jones was coming off his best year with 15 touchdowns, 15 passing touchdowns. They're like, oh my God, this guy. It's like, are you guys, this is good to you? This is bad. This is not good football. Yeah. And they are loudly tanking by going to Tommy Cutlets.
Oh yeah.
Obviously tanking at this point. They're like, yep, we're just gonna lose. Let's just lose. We're done. Moving on. We've got an NFC East matchup here. Dallas Cowboys traveling to Washington to take on the Commanders. But the line is Commanders minus 10.5. Addison, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I might have been flaming Jaden Daniels a little bit earlier, but he's going to have a great week this week. I'm going to take the Washington Commanders minus 10.5. It's a gigantic spread, but Dan Quinn revenge game, I guess. He left on his own will. It was good terms, but revenge game nonetheless. In Dallas, it's just everything is collapsing all around them. Trey Lance should be playing because it'll help improve your pick. And it's shit that's the thought process that it really probably should be. I know Jerry Jones would never do that, though, because he probably thinks they can win out, make the playoffs. Rightfully so, though. I mean, that's a good fan, eh? But give me Washington minus 10.5. I just think their defense is better than people think, and Daniels is going to feast against the Cowboys. I think Cliff Kingsbury will be able to drop just enough. Dallas can't do anything offensively, and in turn, the defense plays way too many snaps.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it. Man, it is so backwards from last year. The Cowboys are the opposite team from last year. Last year at home, unstoppable. Now coming off of another game at home where they were down by 20 plus points, extending their record to 6 straight home games. I mean, that Packers playoff loss last year absolutely broke the Cowboys franchise for whatever reason. Just completely broke them. It just completely broke them. But then you look at the Cowboys on the road and they beat the Browns. They beat the Giants, beat the Steelers, lost to the Niners by 6, lost to the Falcons by 5. I mean, they've been decent on the road. They're competitive. I can't take the Cowboys right now, man. I can't. I said earlier, Chicago is a team that doesn't look like they've quit. Dallas is a team that looks like they've quit. The body language, it looks like they've given up. They know that Cooper Rush is going to win them football games. The defense is struggling to make the stops that they need to. They look like a beaten horse right now, and it's just like, all right, let's just get this over with because we lost our quarterback. You lose your quarterback, it's over. That's the season. That 9 times out of 10, that's the season. And then when you have key players missing so many games, like Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence missing all of these football games, Deron Bland out all year, it's eventually that catches up to you, especially when you lose a ton of depth in the offseason to this team you're playing. This feels like a Dan Quinn, not a revenge game, because like you said, he left on fine terms as far as I know, but this is like Cowboys, you should have fired McCarthy and promoted me instead of keeping McCarthy and letting me go. So I've got to take Washington at home here. Bobby.
And not to just jump on the Cowboys hate train, but Mike Zimmer, his last years in Minnesota, his defense fell apart and sucked, and the players turned on him. And then he gets a job because he's boys with Mike and everything. But it's like Zimmer sucks. He sucked his last time as a defensive play calling head coach. He's struggling now with a defense that was damn good. I get you lost some depth, you lost pieces, some injuries, but man, he's gone for sure. If somehow McCarthy makes it, Zimmer's gone. Guarantee it.
Has to be. Bobby.
I think you guys are really forgetting that Jerry Jones made a big time acquisition for that fourth round pick for the
Which one?
Panthers right out.
Mingo?
I forgot.
Oh, I was gonna say Mingo or Lance. Which one?
Yeah, Mingo. That trade is that's gonna turn the season right around. No, yeah, give me the Commanders. My bad. That shows the delusion to me though that somehow that was thought to be a trade that had to be made. Next year, I guess if he even makes the 53-man roster, I'll eat my words. But I think that really shows the state of the Cowboys and this mental state, which seems to be very little of Jerry Jones right now. But
off his meds.
I will say, Con, you really should take the Mingo trade into consideration before you make this, but give me the Commanders minus the 10.5. I'm so sorry, but yeah, that
Could have
yeah,
had
it's
DeAndre
tough.
Hopkins for less.
Could have
Got
had
Amari
Henry for
Cooper
7
back.
mil.
Could have had Amari
You
Cooper
gotta
back.
roll him out. Here's the thing: if you roll out Mingo and Lance, at least just show that you're trying a little bit to like
You did
make
just
those
piss away fourth round
right.
picks.
What are we doing? Like, I know I don't think they'll be successful, but like at least show that you're going with it. So
Right. Right. Agreed. Colin, let's hear it.
Yeah, another week, Jonathan Mingo learning that offensive playbook, getting the timing with Cooper Rush. No, I'm kidding. A couple of things here on Dallas. Saw a stat they put up on the broadcast during the game. Last 6 home games, including that Packers playoff game, they have led for 2 minutes. Dallas. They have trailed by 20 plus points for 109 minutes in
Wow.
those 6 games.
Saw that.
That's insane. And the 2 minutes they led was against Detroit this year, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
But terrible stat. Hate Micah Parsons' podcasting during the season, but the one thing he said that I do agree with is the last few years Dallas has not been, very nice about not running up the score on their end of things. They like to kind of bully people the last few years, and he said after you kicked some ass the last few years, people are going to want to get their get back and kick your ass when you're down. And so teams are running it up, and hey, I can't hate on it. I say all that to say this: give me Washington with the big spread. I think it's not a revenge game like you guys were saying, Nate. I agree, but I think it's more of like a prove it kind of game where it's like, hey, you didn't want to sign me as promote me as a coach or as from a player aspect. If you don't want to pay me the money that I thought I earned because you didn't have the cap space, well, guess what? I'm going to come out and show you why you should have, manipulated the cap and re-signed us. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Washington just beats the dead horse, and Dallas is just in even more mud than they already are.
Yeah. That's a tough one, man.
It was almost a perfect metaphor that literally Jerry's world is collapsing.
Yeah, it is though.
The
fucking
stadium is
roof-
breaking.
The roof falling in, and that thankfully didn't hit anybody. I mean, that could potentially be a kill, right? Or is it's
Yeah.
immediate KO at worst. It's a gigantic piece of metal.
Yeah, that's death.
Yeah, that Jerry Jones is. It's everything around him is collapsing, and it's tough because he's the guy that's going to try to fix it with super glue, and then try to drink out of it. And there's going to be
Duct
spilling
tape.
all out of the cup. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going to scotch tape his fucking coffee glass, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, if you're a stadium staffer, you see that thing falling, you're just like, please God, hit me.
Yeah,
Please.
take my leg, hit my leg, bro.
And then you call
Oh.
Goldfine and Bowls,
Yep.
and then you never have to work again.
Yep. And then you just enjoy the rest of your days off. Yes, sir. All right. Back to back massive spreads here. We've got Kansas City traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The line is Kansas City minus 10.5. I hate the Chiefs in big spreads. They don't cover them. They don't cover them at all. But oh my God, if you can't beat the Panthers by 10.5 points, what are we doing?
It's Bryce Young, man. He's back.
He's pissed.
they've won their last 3, I think. No joke.
All right, Bobby, start us off. What's your pick?
And
here?
they're off the bye.
Extra time to plan.
That's exactly why I am going to be taking the Chiefs minus 10. I do think I do think the Chiefs are going to be slightly pissed off after the Buffalo game. That's the only reason I'm taking them with the big spread. Don't make that face at me, Colin. You want me to pick the Panthers over that's disgusting.
That's because they're
Bryce Young
pissed
is-
off.
Bryce Young is hot. Bryce Young
Yeah.
is hot right now.
Whoa.
I'm going to tell you this. If the Panthers cover, they're winning the game. Book it. Give me the Chiefs minus 10.5.
I love that. I love that. Addison.
I love Bryce Young, and he's back, but he's so hot that they beat the Giants when he was 15 for 25 for $126 and a tud. That's disgusting that they win a game where their quarterback could have that little passing yards, only 1 tud. But hey, a win's a win. Chuba Hubbard is the real deal. Yeah, eat that dub, Carolina. But man, I want to pick Carolina with all my heart. I really do. But I think Chris Jones will shut down the running game. And then in turn, what can Carolina do if Bryce Young is forced to throw 35 times? I think they're in trouble. So give me the Chiefs minus 10.5. Travis Kelce catches 2 touchdowns. He does a cool little dance for Taylor Swift.
Before you guys go, what if I were to tell you Bryce Young is the Steph Curry of quarterbacks? That was the comparisons coming out of the draft. So
Well,
make your
Yeah,
picks with
Todd
that.
McShay, who knows what he's talking about, I think,
Mahomes.
called him Mini Mahomes. That's crazy.
McShay might suck because he did say Williams sucks, so I hate him for a couple years.
So he's bad. He's bad at his
I hate
job. He doesn't-
McShay for a while. I hate
Yeah,
McShay
that's
for a
fair.
while.
That's fair.
Now, if Williams does end up sucking, McShay was right the whole time.
That's fair. I'm going Kansas City minus 10.5 points. Bobby, you said it. They're going to come out angry. And that makes you play better football. When you're, oh, I'm so mad. I'm going to play
Just so angry right now.
so angry right now. No, but you know what this makes me think? The Chiefs typically don't feel like they need to prove anything because they are the Kansas City Chiefs. They don't need to prove anything. Well, now the whole world's talking about, well, Buffalo, man. Buffalo might be better than you guys. It's time to show that you are who you need to be.
I sort of hope the Chiefs lose and then lose to the Raiders too, and then win out and everyone thinks they suck and then they win another Super Bowl. But I was gonna say, does it change your mind that they got a big trap game against the Raiders next week?
No, it doesn't. It does not. We're not talking about the Saints, Addison. Save it for the
Money.
Saints
I
game.
like Raiders money. I love Raiders money.
Raiders money line. Yeah, Kansas City minus 10.5. Colin.
Nate, talking about your point about, coming out and showing the NFL they have something to prove. I don't know if the Carolina Panthers are to get you much street cred for proving something
so
against
true.
them.
3 in a row. 3 in a row.
Three
It's
in
like-
a row off
It's like
the
you
bye.
got
Bryce
beat
Young,
up by
Dave
a high
Canales, that's a
schooler, and you're
scary
like,
duo.
I'll show you how tough I am. And you go kick the shit out of some toddler at grade school. Look how strong I am.
Yeah, I don't know if punching down is going to be the thing there. I think the money line for Carolina is alive in this game. I'm just, I can't say it with a straight face. I'm joking. Give me Carolina with the points. So I said it. I forgot what week it was, but if the Chiefs are more than a touchdown favorite, 7.5 or more, I'm not taking them because they don't care about covering the spread. They just care about
That's
winning
true.
the game. Obviously, they're going to win. It's Carolina, but off the bye in Carolina, that's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
place to play.
50 fans, $2 a pop. I saw
You know, if-
Carolina Panthers tickets were $2 at one point this year.
Yeah, if you are in Charlotte, fun fact, anybody watch this, if you live in the Charlotte area and you go to McDonald's and you buy a 4-piece chicken nugget Happy Meal, it comes with 2 tickets to the next Carolina Panthers football game. And they just throw them away. Nope. We're throwing that shit away. Not
Yeah, you give it
interested.
to the kid and they rip it up.
Yeah, the kid tears it up. Oh, geez. They're a mess. All right. AFC South matchup. Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans. Houston at home, minus 7.5 is the line. Bobby, AFC South guy, what are your thoughts here?
Gonna be an interest. I think this game is gonna be a little bit more interesting than when I first looked at it. I think the Titans defense is actually pretty good. I love that the Texans got Nico Collins back. I think Mixon's been a stud for him, and I really love the Texans edge rushers. That O-line does scare me a lot, especially with Jeffrey Simmons coming into town,
And
getting some
Devondre
pressure
Sweat.
up the middle. Yeah, 100%. And I still do like the Texans minus 7.5 here. I think the offense is too potent. I think Slowick will find ways to get Stroud to have a quick passing game, get the ball out of his hands quickly. And to be honest, I know Will Levis hit Westbrook-Akine for a 98-yard touchdown last week, but I think we're gonna get one. Well, I think Will Levis will have one of those moments again where you get a little meme of him after the game. He's just probably the most memeable quarterback at the moment. So give me the Texans minus 7.5. I just think that offense is too potent. And I think that defense will come to play. Even if it is a low scoring game, I still like the Texans in this one. So
Yeah, I have Texans written down for myself, and then I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I think I'm starting to overthink this. I got to be careful because I'm like, Jeffrey Simmons, the game wrecker, man. And the interior of that Houston Texans offensive line is a massive concern if Jeffrey Simmons wrecks this game. But then it's like, okay, it's not Jeffrey Simmons versus, like, there's so many more things going on in this football game that matter. And Tennessee against teams in the playoffs right now, they lost by 10 to the Vikings, 10 to the Chargers, by 65 or however many to the Lions, 24 to the Bills. And I mean, they lost by 16 to the Packers. Against teams currently in the playoff picture, they've lost by double digits to everybody. Houston's at home. I know it's a divisional matchup. Those are always weird, and I hate taking a ton of points here, but I'm not going to talk myself out of Houston. I'm going to roll with Houston in this one. Colin.
I want to roll with Houston as well, but I am going to be more hesitant, and I'm going to take Tennessee on the spread in this game. Just looking at Houston, Monday night, national televised, they beat the piss out of a dog shit Dallas team. although the Titans really aren't that much to brag about. But Houston at home in division, even on the road in division this year, those games have been a lot closer than they probably should have been. And so give me Tennessee to make it close, maybe backdoor cover, but 7.5's a lot.
Okay. Addison.
I think Will Levis has actually played pretty well coming back from his fake injury. And I think Tennessee should stick with him going forward. I think he's shown enough really that they shouldn't be in the quarterback market. But talking about this week, I'm going to be on you with the Titans, Colin. I really do not like Houston's offensive line when it comes to pass blocking. Rush blocking, they are elite, and Joe Mixon is making the most of what's in front of him, and that is probably the best running back this season. But the offense, like the pass blocking, it's horrendous. CJ Stroud does not have time. Bob, I'm pretty sure you brought up Bobby Slowick. He was a head coaching candidate potentially last season, and this season, all his smoke with his camp has just died down because the Texans offense hasn't been as dynamic. I get the injuries, but in Nico Collins coming back, there was obviously that big play early with Nico, and you do love to see that. But the Texans have kept games close this season when they shouldn't have been. And even this Cowboys game was close. It took a really bad fumble 6 to blow the doors open, and then that late touchdown run from Mixon really kicked the doors wide open to make it look like it was a blowout. But this game against the Cowboys was close. I'm going to take the Titans in just a game where they end up keeping it close. Maybe they sneak out a win because I think the Texans are a little bit overrated for their record. But give me the Tennessee Titans and Will Levis. Do something crazy, keep the game close, maybe win, but cover.
Okay. I like that. AFC West matchup. Denver Broncos traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Current lines, Denver minus 5.5 on the road. Bobby, what are your thoughts on this game?
Really like the Broncos here, which is scaring me.
I know, right? It seems obvious.
And the Broncos were 6.5 point favorites when I looked at the spread originally, which is also makes you wonder a little bit.
A lot of money coming in on them.
Give me the Broncos. I think their defense is Patrick Surtain is the best cornerback in the league, period.
Yes.
I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix somehow are a match made in heaven. I don't really understand it. I know Bo Nix had a really good game last week, which kind of gives me a little cause for concern that he's going to come back down to earth. But yeah, give me Denver. I just don't know how the Raiders really score that many points in this game. Besides Brock Bowers, which hopefully you have a good enough scheme to stop him. So yeah, I'll take Denver this week.
Okay. Addison.
Yeah, Denver was one of my hits last week. I am really high on the defense. And Sean Payton, man, I made fun of him. I think, honestly, we all did. And a lot of people were that, hey, I got my guy. I got Bo Nix. I finessed the Raiders or whoever it was. But maybe he was right. Maybe he did get a guy that has seen it and had enough reps that he was able to unlock him quicker because Bo Nix was throwing balls into tight windows deep down the field. And that's impressive from any quarterback, let alone a rookie, especially with how he started the season. The Broncos have completely flipped the script offensively. Bo Nix's legs are a big reason, part of that. But the defense, we've talked about it. Pat Surtain is absolutely elite shit. Throw him on Brock Bowers if you have to, because he'll shut him down. I guarantee it. Somehow, some way he'd get that job done. I'm on the Broncos here to cover the spread. I get it's a division game, but I think they handle business because they're competing for the playoffs. They got bigger aspirations than the Raiders.
Yeah. Yep. Colin.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Denver here as well. It is scary. Bob talked about the line movement, but talking about the Broncos defense and how good Vance Joseph's been this year for them, I do think their front seven just continues to wreak havoc, and hopefully they have a game plan for Bowers because that seems to be the lone weapon on this Raiders team.
Yes.
And then I don't want to say Sean Payton's a candidate for Coach of the Year because they are 6-5, but I mean, right now they're in the playoffs and they've probably hit their season win total for my projection before the year.
Vegas had them at 5.5 and they have 6.
Yeah. And so they've been, like you said, Addison, a match made in heaven. And I just don't see how the Raiders stop them and, cover in this game. So give me Denver on the road.
God dang it. It seems so obvious. Like Denver minus 5.5 feels so obvious. Broncos, since the Raiders have moved to Vegas, Broncos 0-4 in Las Vegas. They're yet to win in Las Vegas in the 4 years since they've moved out there. But man, are the Raiders bad at football. I love that one of their wins is against the Ravens. That makes me smile every time I think about it.
Into game.
Fantastic. Yeah, I can't. I already crossed mine out, but I'm going back. I'm staying with Denver here as well. We're gonna clean sweep the Broncos. Like defense is good. offense is solid. Like Sean Payton does what you should do for a rookie quarterback. It's, hey, here's 15 plays that we're gonna run where you have a layup throw to make. You have a simple throw. I have schemed it. This is your read. You do this or you do this, and it works. And then he gets his confidence going, and then you can start taking some shots. And Cortland Sutton, what a stud he has been for them. I mean, the defense playing as well. The fact they just beat the Falcons 38-6, and they hung around with Kansas City and Kansas City too, man. I mean, they're humming. They're humming. And the Raiders are full-blown fall apart mode, play for quarterback next year mode. So hard to take the Raiders when they don't want to win anymore. We're at that point now where it's like, do they want to win? Probably not. Yeah. Alrighty. Next up, San Francisco traveling to Green Bay. They will be without Brock Purdy in this football game. It's Brandon Allen, right? Brandon Allen?
Yeah.
Kyle Allen? It's one of the Allens. One of them. The line that we have for this game is Green Bay -5.5. I've even double checked it. It is still only 5.5 points. So they're telling me that the Packers with their full team and the 49ers with Kyle Allen, one of the Allens, are only 2.5 points better. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Addison, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think I'd be on the Packers, even if it was a healthy 49ers team. I mean, I know they're 5-5, but they're in last place in their division, and they've lost some games this season they should not have.
Yeah.
They're not the same. Christian McCaffrey, obviously missing the start of the year, is tough, and he's got to get into a rhythm. He's going to be relied on heavily in this game. I'm pretty sure, is Nick Bosa also out in this game? I think he is.
I think he is.
I think it was Purdy and Bosa both ruled out when that notification came out.
Purdy
So
and
that's
Bosa both out.
yeah, that's tough for the 49ers defense, but I've already said it before the season that I don't believe that the 49ers defense has the same juice as they've had in the past. And the offense has been lackluster at times this year. Injuries, sure, but I'm on Green Bay here. They were able to sneak one out against the Bears last week because of some great special teams play. Their offense sort of was held in check. They scored 3 touchdowns, but there were a lot of punts in that game, or just not a lot of possession. So time of possession went quick, and Green Bay did okay, but I think they'll be able to take advantage of the lackluster San Francisco offense without Purdy and it being really reliant on CMC. So give me those Packers to cover.
Yeah, Addison, I'm with you. Packers -5.5 here. Fun fact, first time the 49ers have been an underdog since 2022. 36 straight games they've been favorited in. So that's crazy. Also, Trent Williams listed as questionable with an ankle injury too. I mean, that's probably three of your most important players right there.
Yeah.
Trent Williams,
Yeah.
Nick Bosa, and your quarterback. Yikes. And Ayuk's already out. Deebo Samuel sucks outside of one good year. Christian McCaffrey's playing on 2 bad Achilles tendons and hasn't looked as good as the run game did with Jordan Mason. Just to be blunt, like the run game was better with Jordan Mason out there. 49ers are falling apart right in front of our eyes. Like Addison, you said it very early on and you were spot on with it. A bunch of names, not a lot of team on defense at all. Ever since they let Steve Wilkes walk, man, and they're like, nope, we don't want you. You're gone. Defense has taken a big time step back. They could not lose that game to the Seahawks last week. That was a game they couldn't lose.
And I mean, not in the Rams game earlier this season, they choked a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. You can't lose that.
No.
And then also,
Cardinals.
I want to talk about, I saw it on social media. I don't remember who it was, but it was a point that San Francisco's played a lot of late football into multiple seasons in a row, 2 Super Bowl L's, a lot of championship games appearances. Eventually that adds up. A lot of these pieces are the same. I get Purdy's fresh, but eventually gas tank runs out even on great teams. And sometimes a year like this happens, allows everyone to recuperate, get better over the offseason when they get healthy. And it's shit because it's like San Francisco is a competing team, but this is what happens when most teams compete for this long. There is a year or two of stumble because it's just so hard to constantly be this competitive.
Dog, their schedule is brutal, the 49ers, the rest of the way. Green Bay, in Buffalo, host the Bears, host the Rams, to Miami, host the Lions, go to Arizona. Oh,
I think Miami's the easiest game. Just kidding.
wow, dude. Wow, dude. All right. Yeah, Green Bay -5.5. Bobby.
If the Pasternak was starting this game, I would take the 49ers with, I don't care who they have out. But give me the Packers. I will say there is something, the Packers did have a very tough time overcoming the 49ers in the past with Rodgers. Jordan Love's definitely going to throw an interception or two this game. He is very turnover heavy. if the Pasternak was starting this game, I would take them money line. Doesn't matter if Trent Williams is out. It doesn't matter if Bose is out. Um, I think he's a spark plug for the offense, but I'll take the Packers minus the 5.5 or whatever it is.
Okay. Colin.
I really wanted, just like you, Bob, I really wanted to go with the Niners in this game, but then you talked me into it, Nate, whenever you're talking about the key positions, like left tackle, quarterback, and defensive
Pass
ends,
rusher.
probably
Yeah.
the three most important positions on the field, and you're losing three top tier guys at all three of those positions. And so I just can't do it. I'm going to take the Packers as well. Jordan Love, the interception bug continues, a bad red zone pick last week. As long as he doesn't do that this week, I look for the Packers to run away with it. You don't want to compare games and teams because much different team than last year in the playoffs. But this is a Packers team that had the Niners kind of on the ropes in San Francisco,
Yeah.
and so maybe they can take some points away from that game and make those adjustments and win this one.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a new reason. There's a reason Green Bay has a different kicker than they did last year in the postseason against San Francisco, and it's because he lost them that game, or at least was a big reason why.
100%. 100%. All right, that's our fourth clean sweep of Sunday. So we're either having a
Scary.
great week or we're all going to be on TikTok shaking our ass for the camera.
I've got a pass, so I'm chill.
Listen, Colin,
I
Bobby,
do
all gonna
have
use
my
your
one
freebies.
freebie as well.
One freebie. Oh shit! All right, Arizona at Seattle. The line is Arizona minus 1.5 here. I'm taking Seattle plus 1.5 here. I hate it. I think it's as stinky. It's very stinky. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't even care. Hot coming off a big win against the 49ers, who might suck. 49ers on suck watch for sure. But I'm gonna go with Seattle. I don't know. I literally have nothing to justify it. Like Arizona minus 1.5. You kidding me? They're in first place. Their offense has looked good. Their defense has looked really good. They should be 4-point favorites. They should be 4-point favorites. 1.5 points is it, and it's a home division dog. Give me Seattle. I'm going with Seattle. I have nothing to justify it. Colin.
I'm going Arizona in this spot, just complete opposite of you, Nate. I think
Understood.
last week might have been such a high for the
Understood.
last week might have been such a high for the Seattle team, kind of maybe overcoming the hump against a division foe that they haven't been able to beat in several years, or this is just the ultimate letdown spot. You knock off the guy that's given you trouble for the last few years, and you come home against somebody you've kind of owned the last few years, and here you go. You're gonna lay an egg at home. Geno
It's down
Smith
your leg.
back-to-back games. You think he's pulling off back-to-back games? Give me those Cardinals.
All right. Addison.
Yeah, talking to me about Seattle and Arizona here. Some of Arizona wins. I mean, obviously just dismantled the Jets. They beat the amazing Bears team pretty badly. They beat the LA Harbaugh's impressive win. And they played Detroit pretty close this season, 20-13. That's an impressive game. And then you look at Seattle's wins, and have they beat anyone good? Are the 49ers good? And if they're not, who have the Falcons? I mean, they're over 500, but they've stumbled multiple times this season. Other than that, they've got some bad losses and some ugly wins. I'm with Arizona here with you, Colin. I think Arizona's riding high right now, and Kyler Murray, hey man, since Black Ops has came out, he's undefeated.
He's been awesome.
So he's been damn good. I'm gonna ride the Kyler train. Pause, but you guys know I love him. So give me Kyler Murray and those Arizona Cardinals to win.
Okay.
And I think they're off a bye too. I want to say
They
Arizona.
are. They are.
I
Yeah.
always love a team off a bye.
Yeah, I get that. Bobby.
Speaking of the Call of Duty thing, I'm pretty sure if you look at Cliff Kingsbury's numbers, he might be the Call of Duty fiend. Washington's
True.
been downhill since COD dropped.
That's
Great
Great point.
though.
It is. I seen it on Twitter. It's got to be true. I am writing off Geno Smith, and he is not going to write back. Give me the Cardinals all day. I think Geno Smith is as middle of the road of a quarterback as you can possibly get in the NFL. He can take you to the playoffs, but he cannot win you games in the playoffs. You'll be competitive in some games. He'll have, some great statistical games as well. I just don't think the Seahawks have enough pieces to really compete in the long run of things. And I think the Cardinals are slowly developing and adding the right talent. And defensively, they played a lot better than I thought they would this year as well. So give me the Cardinals in this one.
Okay.
Geno Smith playing as well as he did in his Cinderella season really fucked over the Seahawks franchise for the
Yeah, it did.
future because they're wasting DK's prime. They're wasting the end of Lockett's career. And then potentially you're going to have to hope a young quarterback is good during the start of JSN's prime. And it's like Geno throws for yards, but they're empty. They're empty yards. And can a franchise see that? Is that good enough? It clearly was for Seattle when they were looking for Russ. But man, I get they tried to trade for Rich, but they fucked up going Geno long term. Because
Yeah.
now where do you go?
Gino and Kirk remind me are basically the same quarterback in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if you take out Cousins' games against Tampa Bay, I mean, this year, that's 900 of his yards in those two games,
That's
along with
crazy.
8 or 9 touchdowns. Otherwise, he's been very middle of the road.
Hey, maybe Atlanta did it right though, because at least they put their sack on table and they drafted Penix.
True.
You know, like Seattle tried. You know, I think they would have rocked Geno for a season if they got Rich, but they tried. They couldn't get it done, and now it's like, okay, who do we hand the reins to? It's Sam Howell, and then who knows?
Don't know about that one. Alrighty, Sunday night football. Philadelphia Eagles traveling to LA to take on the Rams. Line is Philadelphia minus 2.5. Bobby, thoughts?
Philly.
Fair.
Good.
Colin, thoughts?
I'm going to be just as brief. Philly.
Addison?
You know I love to yap, so why not? I think this game is one of those games, Bob, where you're looking at the spread. All the money's going to be on Philly here. And how is this close? I get Philly's on the road, but LA is not a home cooking stadium where there's an advantage there. If anything, there'll probably be more green in that stadium than there will be yellow and blue.
100%.
So give me Philly here, though. It is an odd spread, but LA with a healthy offense can score points. Can Philly's defense get got a little bit? Maybe. I think they're improving though, and all signs point Philly, which is scary. If you want to say a scary game, here's my scary game of the week. Because why the hell is this 2.5? Philly's rolling. LA's on the other side, and it's close. I mean, I get they're on the road, but still, give me Philly. Give me Jalen Hurts. No Devonta Smith sort of hurts, but they got Saquon and Jalen. That's all they need.
That's really all they need.
I'll butt in before Nate here. Two dynamic receivers for the Rams both looked great last week. Only one Quinyon Mitchell on that
That's
Eagles
true.
defense, and he's been a stud. this
Yeah,
year.
he's
Two
been
words.
awesome.
I got 2 words for those receivers though. Exciting whites. Period.
Yeah,
Yes.
Milkmen. Read
Milkman.
the video today of them. There is like a reaction thing of Eagles,
Oh, yeah,
and it's like, hey, the Milkman caught
Yeah.
it. The Milkman did it, man.
They were
Shut up.
crushing that thing. Yeah. Yeah. I'm taking the exciting whites in Philly minus the 2. I love the 2.5 hook. Obviously, it's a great hook. You'd love to see that one. Rams absolutely reeling. Yeah. They snuck away from the Patriots after they got beat up on Monday night by Miami. Rams have just been one of those teams where they're so up and down. I mean, they can lose to the Packers by 5 and then only beat the Raiders by 5. It's like, okay, are you right in the middle of these teams? Like, where are you? What are you as a team? They aren't inspiring a ton of confidence. Philadelphia has won 6 straight games, and they've won most of them in relatively convincing fashion. How do you
I do
not
like
take
Jared Verse. I do like Jared Verse a lot. I think
their
his-
defensive line is
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's
That's one thing
fantastic,
they
yeah.
do not need
Frisk
to
or
address in
Fisk
draft.
as well. Yeah,
Fisk,
the Florida
yeah.
State boys. The
Yeah,
Florida
FSU
State
boys,
boys
yeah.
are damn. good.
Burse and Fisk, and then Kobe Turner, their 5th round pick
Yeah.
last year. He's a stud. Byron Young is a stud. Like, their defensive line is set. They do not need to draft that. But that's gonna be a good Sunday night game. I think Stafford is gonna. I think that's gonna be a fun one to watch. I'm
Yeah,
excited to
for
watch.
sure.
I want Cooper DeJean across from Cooper Cup. I want the
Yeah, the
exciting white Cooper battle. Please,
2
thank you.
cups, 1 ball. Yeah, I think you just said it, Nate. I was wondering why the spread was so low, and you brought him up, Matt Stafford. I think
Stafford.
that's why, because he can keep any game close, and he's a wily vet that, hey, he won a Super Bowl there.
Exciting
Clearly, he
white.
can get any job done. Yeah, so
There's a lot of exciting whites in this game, folks. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm an excited white.
I will say, I got to give Sean McVay credit though. He is an insanely good head coach. So
Yes.
I think he always outperforms expectations with that team, regardless of the talent that's on the roster. Finds young guys that are able to step up in big moments. So I do think it'll be a very close game, but give me the Eagles in that one for sure.
That is our 5th clean sweep of the week.
love
folks.
that outrageous take for this game. They haven't done it in a while. They're gonna show the graphic or like a picture of Stafford and Kershaw as high school teammates because they did it so many times in a row. They've stopped. It's been a while.
You're right.
That story's gonna get brought back up.
I bet you Kershaw's there, and that's why.
Yeah.
I'm writing down Staff and Kershaw picture.
Yep, it's happening, man. Book it.
All right, Monday night, we've got the Harbaugh Bowl. We've
Yes.
got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to LA to take on the Los Angeles Harbaughs and a team that I wrote off, thought we're going to suck. Honest to God, I was like, this team's going to be bad this year. They don't have any weapons. Another exciting white in this game, and Lad McConkey has been awesome recently. Big fan of him. Baltimore reeling, obviously coming off a honestly embarrassing loss. Like,
It's brutal. You can't lose that game. They're 7-4 now.
right?
That hurts.
Their
Hurts
schedule does
after your
not get
0-2 start. Yeah, that
easy.
hurts.
They've got Chargers, Philly, at the Giants, easy win. But then Steelers again in Houston, and then Cleveland. I mean, they've got a lot of games that are like, please just give Derrick Henry the ball. That's all I'm asking for. Just give Derrick Henry the ball a bunch. Like, it's not that hard. Just do it. Do it. Do it. I'm on Baltimore minus 3 points here. I like them bouncing back. I like the bounce back. Sage said it. John Harbaugh's never lost to Jim Harbaugh. Beat him in the Super Bowl. Beat him in some regular season games. I like that. I just like the Ravens. This is a big one, man. Both these quarterbacks, these are the guys where you're like, who's better, Herbert, Lamar? Who's better? Lamar's obviously got the MVPs. I'm more of a Lamar guy myself. It's going to be a really good football game. I'm excited about this one on Monday night. Addison, I'm going to go to you.
Lamar guy. Like,
Big
you
one.
know I'm on the Chargers. One of our most heated debates in this podcast history is me and Sage
Huh?
going back and forth over Lamar and Herbert, and I'm still on the Herbert train. Everyone's hating. Don't know why. He's an exciting white.
He is.
Lamar is great, though. Don't get me wrong. But this game, I mean, I'm telling you, it's just the Chargers. They're on a different level right now, and it's because of Jim. And I think just the energy, the vibe of the rooms, as crazy as that is, Baltimore, it's a little cloudy right now. You know, and at the end of the day, I know the Justin Tucker conversation has to begin eventually. I think it has a little bit. It might be whispers, but the fact that it started at all is a real thing, and that's tough. Herbert in this last game against the Bengals, big deep time throws, deep down the field throws, and I've said it that the Chargers are just licking their chops because they don't have to do that, but when they do, he can.
He can do it.
Justin Herbert can make any throw, can do anything any other quarterback in this league can do. When he's not being asked to at an alarming rate, guess what? He's pretty damn good at it quite often. He is beast mode. Beast fucking Herbert, man. I love it. I'm taking the Chargers here to just outright win. Don't even give me the points. I don't care. They're winning money line. Screw the Ravens, 7-5. Maybe fire Harbaugh.
Maybe firing Harbaugh. Fair enough. Bobby.
I love the Chargers in this spot at +3. I think they have so many guys from the Ravens. Greg Roman. I think that this is going to be a revenge game for him. I think Harbaugh, I guess which one, has got the boys cooking in LA. I think it will be a tight game for sure, but I think the Chargers are going to play a very sound defensive game. I think that run game is going to get going. And hopefully, I think with the defense that the Chargers are able to play, Lamar may have some struggles in this game. So I like the Chargers +3.
And one thing you said, Rob, that I like is the run game. If you can keep the Ravens off the field, I think that's when their offense doesn't think they can give
Yeah.
the ball to Henry 25
Yeah.
times because
And then they
we're down in the
press.
time
Yep.
of possession. So we have to press.
Yep.
It's like maybe you guys don't, but if they feel like they have to, and that's a good way to make the opposing team feel like they can't run the ball, is if you can dominantly and claim time of possession.
I like it. Colin.
Yeah, I like Harbaugh to get his team fired up and win this game. I'm joking. That's really bad. I'm sorry.
But
you hate to pick against the Ravens coming off a loss because I think they're one of those teams that just they'll always bounce back and just do whatever they did wrong in the last game. They'll make that adjustment. But I do like the Chargers defensively. I know the second half last week wasn't great defensively. I almost chalked that up to, MVP Joe Burrow just doing his damn thing. That guy is just insane.
Different level this year.
I like that. I like the Greg Roman storyline. So give me the Chargers as well here. I'll take the points. I'm not as confident as Addison on the money line. But it's going to be a great game. I don't see either, like both offenses have been elite or very good, if not elite. And I just don't trust the Ravens defense as much as I trust the Chargers defense. And that's probably why I'm leaning Chargers.
Yeah, the Ravens defense is straight up horrible. I mean, just bad. It's just
Yeah.
bad.
Herbert to the moon.
Or to the moon. Okay. All righty. I like it. I love when I get Baltimore by myself. That's happened like 2 or 3 times this year, and every time they come through for me, baby. Those are the picks. that's the schedule for week 12 of the NFL season. A light schedule this week, with 6 teams on a bye. Obviously, that lightens the load just a touch. But now's the time to get into mortal locks of the week. Sage's mortal lock is a clean sweep, which makes me even more nervous. Sage obviously clean swept Denver -5.5. I will be testing my mortal lock luck. Oh, by the way, you 4 are all tied at 6-4. All 4 of you are 6-4 in mortal locks. That's. I'm gonna stop the conversation right there. Just you 4. Let's talk about you 4. Nice job. You guys are doing very, very well. Very
1
happy.
in 10 is impressive, my friend.
Well, come on. Come on.
You can't even try for that. I know
No,
that's a bad thing to say.
These are all spread betting is basically 50-50. It's basically 50-50. 1 in 10. How does that happen? New England +7 will be my mortal lock this week, and I will continue to do it until it fails me. So New England +7 is Nate's mortal lock. Who's got one? What are we confident in?
I'll go. I got Browns +3.5. I think that's got him.
Chubb
no.
anytime touchdown.
Yeah,
Chubb
Chubb
anytime.
two touchdowns.
Yeah.
Give me the not the Broncos, excuse me. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -5.5 against the New York Giants. I don't think Tommy Cutlets will be able to do enough. Maybe there's a little bit of excitement early in the game. I think Mike Evans has a big game. Whatever he needs to get 1,000, he's getting these last 7 or last 6, whatever they have.
He has to average 93 yards a game.
He's getting it. I'll be betting Mike Evans 100+ in the rest of the games this season because he will reach 1,000. So give me Tampa Bay here -5.5, and I think they handle that pretty easily.
Okay, I like that. Also, you guys are all 6-5, not 6-4. We've had 11 weeks. You're all 6-5. But either way, Colin, what's your mortal lock for the week?
So as far as picks go for the season-long tally, if there is a tie, ultimately mortal lock record breaks the tie. And right now,
Correct.
Addison and I are tied in first and tied mortal
And
lock.
mortal locks, correct.
So these are very important picks, the mortal
Yes.
locks moving forwards. And it's a team I kind of halfway joked half the analysis on my pick. But in a spot where mortal locks mean the most to us, I am taking the Carolina Panthers
Oh,
plus the 10.5. And I am stanking it up all the way to the
Oh.
bank.
I love that. You might just have to give him 2 if that hits.
yeah, I might have to take a 10.5 point underdog against the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs. that is stanky.
It's Bryce Young off the bye, man.
Bryce Young off the bye, dude.
It's true.
Has he ever played a game coming off the bye? I don't think so.
Couldn't tell you.
Unless he was starting it last year, which I don't remember. Very possible. Bobby, mortal lock.
I got a game and an anytime touchdown score that I love this week.
I swear to God, if you say the Browns and Nick Chubb.
No, that'd be a 2-time touchdown score.
You're right.
You'd love
Um,
Jalen Warren to score this week.
yeah. Shit.
Calvin Austin, anytime.
Yeah, Calvin Austin.
And 90+ yards.
Right. No, I love the Lions -7.5 here. I think the Colts are going to get ran out of the building. I don't think it'll be close. If it is close, the Lions are going to run away with it. I will say Colts are a good fourth quarter team, especially with Rich. However, the Lions, if they get rolling, they are impossible to stop. Our defense does fall apart towards the end of the games. The time of possession this year, Zaire Franklin said it on his podcast. The Colts, he's played the most snaps in the NFL this year out of any single player in the NFL. The time of possession game is something that is terrible with the Colts. We can be boomer bust, especially if Rich kind of comes back down to earth, doesn't have that 66% completion percentage. I love the Lions -7.5 here, even though Colts are 8-3 against the spread. And then the anytime touchdown score, give me J.K. Dobbins, anytime touchdown score. I love that against his former team. I really think the Chargers make it a point to pound the rock with him in the red zone if they get there. If not, hopefully he gets in from outside the 20. But those are my 2 locks for the week. So
Right. I like them. I like those.
Plus 115 on Dobbins. I like that.
Plus 115. That's nice.
I like that.
Speaking of locks of the week, Colin. It's time for Colin's locks of the week, ladies and gentlemen. 22-11 on the year. What do you got for us this week?
Coming off a losing week, we had expected some regression. We talked about it last week. We had our bad weeks, so we got out of the way, and let's bounce back here. We'll start with the straight bet, and I've gone back and forth between two, but I really like Arizona on the money line this week and Seattle at minus 108 odds. I'm not gonna take the 1.5. Just give me the money line there, just to make it real easy. Going into the 5-point teaser here, we're gonna take the Lions from 7.5 to 2.5. We're gonna take the Texans from 7.5 to 2.5, and we're gonna take the Dolphins from 7 to 2. So 3 favorites by
Love
less than a
those.
field goal. Love that. Plus 180 odds on a 5-point teaser there.
That's nice.
And then lastly, money line parlay. I like the Broncos on the money line in Vegas, and I like the Packers on the money line at home, minus 106 odds on that parlay.
Damn. Those look so good. I might have to go bet some of them.
You won't.
No,
You
I
won't.
I wouldn't do that to the locks. I would never purposefully tank Collins locks like that. I will be betting on the Patriots money line, folks. Listen, outrageous take 1-0 in the last 1 week.
1-0 in one league, and that's all you want to do, right? You want to win every week, and
That's
this
right, go
week
1-0.
hopefully we can do it again. Fuck the Ravens is what I got to say. Colin, I hope that this does not happen for your sake, because it would be a loss for one of your bets. Give me Will Levis to outplay CJ Stroud statistically. Give me Will Levis to throw 25, a 31, 2 tuds, 280. CJ Stroud throws a couple picks, and the Titans upset the Texans. But mostly it's that Will Levis outplays CJ Stroud in the Sunday's game.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
Kershaw. Don't forget about
And
that.
Kershaw. That's
And
true.
Kershaw Stafford picture. I will be watching that game so fucking intently.
It's happening.
Oh, well, Sunday
that.
night with Collinsworth, he is for
Yeah,
sure
exactly.
pulling
It's
out
Sunday
that
night.
pick.
It's been a while since it's happened.
You're
It's
right.
happening.
You're right. All right. That's all we've got for you folks on week 12 of the NFL season, man. It is getting down to the nitty gritty. I'm gonna keep saying it until it is indeed at the nitty gritty. It's that's all I've got. I got nothing. I'm trying to come up with something clever. I got nothing for you all. Thanks for stopping by. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button. Comment down below. Give me shit about my mortal locks. No one's done it yet. It's honestly kind of sad. I mean, 1 in 10 is
1 in
insane.
10.
1 in 10 is insane. So let me hear it. I would love to hear it. But that's all we've got. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Shock the world. Shock the world.